Hey everybody, what's going on? Today we are going to react to a Colred video. He sent this over to me yesterday and just said he was interested in hearing my thoughts about it. So rather than just chatting with him about it in DMs, I thought we would do a reaction. I know I always get a kick out of seeing my peers react to my videos, and I think it's a fun way to have the conversation and include you guys in the conversation. So we're going to react to it and give our thoughts kind of live. I have not watched it. I started watching it when he sent it. I got 3 minutes in when he cut to his intro, and I thought, actually, you know what? Why don't we do everything I just said we're going to do? So that's what we're going to do. It seems to be the Fey Hammer Titan event is the point of contention here. So I of course have some thoughts about it. So let's go in and hear what Colred has to say about it. He's also, if you don't know Colred, couple things. One, if you don't know Colred yet, you should go check him out. He makes fantastic content. He's closing in on 10,000 subscribers too, which is really dope. Also, Colred is not much of a ranter. He does not do this very often. He is generally pretty optimistic and positive and happy with what's going on in the game. He is aware of the problem. He understands the problems with Plarium, but he doesn't tend to do this a lot. So for him to make a full-blown rant video, he must be pretty fired up and engaging from the first 3 minutes of the video. He's pretty fired up. So let's see how it goes.
Plarium, I want to get off on the right foot, and I'm going to start by explaining to you why people are angry with you right now, because I don't think you saw this coming. And I'm pretty sure you don't entirely get the anger. That's the thing that drives me nuts.
Has YouTube been doing that to anybody else?
Off on the right foot. And I'm going to start by explaining to you why people are angry with you right now, because I don't think you saw this coming. And I'm pretty sure you don't entirely get the anger or the outrage that's going on.
So I don't know if I feel the same way as far as they didn't see this coming. I think that they've done this enough times that they know. And there's been some speculation over the years that they do this type of stuff on purpose. One, to drive sales of shards, of course. But two, because there must be something positive in the analytics. This is the speculation anyway. There must be some positive reaction in the analytics to there being outrage at certain points in the timeline. Because it just seems that there's no way that in almost 6 years, they haven't figured out how to not piss their players off. Now, as a mobile game developer, you're never going to make everybody happy. It is literally impossible to make everybody happy in a mobile game. In any audience, really, but especially a mobile game audience, you cannot please everyone. It just is. It's literally impossible. But you can have a generally positive sentiment. I've seen it many times, and it's the way that it's the way you engage with your players. Plarium has a habit, a well-known tactic of theirs to entrap you in situations where you are either going to buy shards or you are not going to participate in the thing. Or you know what I mean? They're going to milk you of your shards in some way and then drop something that's going to make you need more shards than you're going to have to participate. So I don't know if I agree that they didn't expect this. I think they know very well by now what types of things are going to piss people off for the most part. I think maybe they thought people were going to be stoked on Siege. You know what I mean? I don't think it's impossible for them to be caught off guard, but I think stuff like this, I think they've got this mapped out so clearly at this point that they know exactly what they're doing. So
going on right now. But people in my Discord community aren't happy. I've seen chat in game, both clan chat and global chat. People are not real happy with you. This is a video that was put out today by Saf from the HH Gaming Network. That's his channel. And it's entitled New Thor Titan Event Trickery. And you can see a big deceived here. Although, quick note to Saf's editor, that's not how you spell deceived. But the reason people are
E except after C, man, come on.
Upset is pretty simple. You omit facts that would be helpful to your player base. And it's clear that your intention in that omission is to create additional FOMO and cause people to spend more money.
Mm-hmm.
And you're constantly changing the rules that you yourself make. And as a result, players feel like they're standing on shifting sands, and we don't trust you to look out for us. It feels like an adversarial relationship. And I'm going to explain this very specifically so you understand exactly what I'm talking about. So,
real quick, I just want to follow up to the reason that I say all of what I just said is the whole reason Wait Shadow Legends as a video exists. This is what they do. So the whole joke is you should probably wait before you play this game at all, because there's probably something coming that's going to make you regret playing it right now. That's the joke of it, right? But it's not really a joke. It's you either have to just accept that you don't get to participate in half of this game, or you have to spend a bunch of money. Like that's how Raid's designed.
Let's go look at your Plarium Play events calendar. Here we are. Yesterday, I looked at this events calendar and I was talking to my viewers about this Summon Rush and how the Feyhammer Titan event overlaps the end of the Thor Fusion event, and that had never happened before. And so what happened 2 weeks ago was you launched the Thor's Fusion event and you gave us a calendar of events. And based on everything that we've known about you and your history and the history of fusion events, we believed that this Summon Rush was a place where we could potentially get extra fragments to complete the Thor Fusion if we messed up during the 2 weeks of the Thor Fusion event and missed one of those events. If we didn't complete something, this was going to be a chance at the very end to spend some shards and get some additional fragments for Diana and complete the Thor Fusion.
Quick note, too, on the way that they do their fusions. Again, as someone that's been playing these games for over a decade now, I've played a lot of these games and a lot of other games. When they do something like this, when there's an event, some of them just do the same type of thing Raid does, where you farm frags through the course of different events. Let's say Watcher of Realms, for example. If I'm not mistaken, in Watcher of Realms, through the course of an event, there were enough opportunities to farm frags that you could farm a copy and an extra copy. There was so much room for you to not have to be on this game every second of every day farming to finish it. And that's such a respectful acknowledgement that you're a human being that has a life and other commitments, right? Maybe that's too much. Maybe that makes it too easy and boring. But for the Thor Fusion, for example, if this last Summon Rush aside, you couldn't miss an event. You couldn't miss one single event. If your internet went out, if you had a flat tire on the way home, there are any series of even minor inconveniences in your actual life could have cost you this whole event. You could have farmed it perfectly for the first however many events, and the last one or two, something goes wrong and you can't get in the game. Like, there was no margin for error except the Summon Rush at the end. It's always, if they give you any opportunity to make up anything, it's a Summon Rush, because that's the thing you can buy. That's the thing you can give them money to correct. It is so obnoxious to handcuff you to this game for weeks at a time every time they do a fusion. Every now and then they give you a little wiggle room. I don't know why it's every now and then. I don't know if it's to keep you on your toes, but we go into every fusion, all of us go into every fusion not knowing what to expect. We don't know what the point thresholds are going to be. We don't know if it's going to be one that you can miss an event or not. We don't know how intense the summon events are going to be. We don't know anything about it every single time. They keep you on your toes. They keep you handcuffed to this game. It's obnoxious. It's genuinely obnoxious behavior as a game developer. So it can be done differently and successfully. I know Raid is one of the biggest games, but if you think that's not because of their ad budget, then you haven't played enough games. There are games just as good or better out than Raid. Raid's awesome. I want to make that clear. I don't hate Raid. I don't like Plarium. I think in spite of Plarium, there are a lot of things to enjoy about this game, but that that can coexist with a disdain for the way that player behaves and treats their players. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused. Every time I criticize Plarium, I have to deal with 7 or 8 comments on the video of, if you hate the game, why do you play it? I don't hate the game. I don't like Plarium. And I think most people understand that. So yes, the game is fun. There's a lot of cool stuff in the game. I think there's a lot of things Plarium does really well, and I talk about those periodically. But if you only show up to my rant videos, then you think I hate the game and you think I hate Plarium. So that is not the case. There's a reason I'm playing it. But Plarium's behavior, especially in situations like this, is just really obnoxious. It's really over the top and obnoxious.
And there was no information that would tell us otherwise.
Right.
There was nothing in our history together that indicated that there was anything more than that going on. And now what we're seeing is that this is a combined event. It is part of the Fusion event, and it is likewise part of the Feyhammer Titan event. Now, by the way, you didn't announce the Feyhammer Titan event like ahead of time. You didn't give us the event map for that. You didn't announce the Thor Fusion event like calendar until it launched. You used to give us the calendar in advance. You used to give us 1 or 2 days warning, 3 days warning, so that we could plan. And you don't do that anymore. And the only real reason is because you don't want us to prepare. Like, that's the clear implication, that you used to give us time to prepare and now you don't. And why would that be the case? Because letting your players prepare is treating your players with respect. It's helping your players, and not letting them prepare is a step towards tricking them.
And they have some aversion to letting us settle in. They don't seem to like the idea of us having any idea what to expect. They seem to like keeping players on their toes. And again, maybe there's something in the analytics that shows this is a good idea. I believe that they are purely revenue driven. I know they're a business and they're supposed to make money, but there's a line, right? There's like a spectrum of being purely revenue driven and having a love for your game. And a lot of well, I don't know even if it's fair to say a lot of developers, but the developers that have good reputations, I should say, keep it much closer to the middle. And Plarium just clearly sits over here on the revenue side. They just clearly, everything they do, I believe, is driven by their revenue graph. And anything that makes it dip, they stop doing, and anything that makes it go up, they do. And they're constantly making adjustments to it, and that's what I believe is going on. Do I believe that there are people at Plarium that care about this game? Yes. Do I believe that any of them are the people making the decisions for the game? No. I just don't think that. I think Siege is a perfect representation of that. Siege is a game mode that we've not only needed pretty much since launch. Since I downloaded Raid and learned there was no Clan Wars, I've been saying we're going to need Clan Wars at some point. That is the lifeblood of a lot of these games. That is what a lot of people take very seriously and get really into. We're going to need something like that. It took them over 5 years to implement it, and they literally copy pasted Arena onto a different map. Except now your Arena auras don't work. It so clearly lacks any passion or interest in it being good. It is probably ripped from another game. The whole layout and format of it is probably ripped from another game, and they couldn't even be bothered to rewrite the code a little bit so that it's not Arena again. That it's not 4v4. Every piece of PvP we have in this game is Arena format. That just screams, I don't care. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's just so obvious that they don't give a shit about anything but money.
Disadvantage. You used to give us a benefit, and now you don't. And we're not stupid. We know that that's the case. And this is true, of course, with the Titan event. We didn't know this was coming, and we didn't know that this Summon Rush was going to be part of both events. So I spoke to my viewers. I did a Fusion plan video, and I said, there might be some additional benefit here at the Summon Rush, but we can't count on it. because we don't know what's coming. And so I advised all of my viewers to go ahead during the fusion event and complete the first summon rush and the champion chase. And that's what I did personally, with the expectation that these fragments here during this summon rush were extras, that they weren't necessary, that this event was a bonus event for people who maybe messed up the fusion and wanted to spend a little bit of money to complete the Thor fusion even though they messed up. Or it could be an opportunity to just get some additional resources if necessary. But now what you're saying is, hey, you want this Thor soul, you need to go and do this summon rush. So let's go look at that in game. Let's see what that looks like. Here's your Fey Hammer Titan event and your summon rush.
Be good.
Looks normal so far. But as soon as I go into the summon rush, what I notice is there are both hammer points for the Titan event and champion fragments for the fusion event. Now, I've already completed the fusion. My information was that this was only fragments here, that I wasn't going to have to do this. And so I decided to play very well.
Yeah.
As well as I could, not miss a single event during the Thor's fusion event, and complete my Thor fusion without these champions.
I guess I didn't think specifically about that aspect.
And what you have now done is you have said, well, you can't really skip this event if you want the 5-star soul. There are only 250 free points, like extra points, right? You need 1,500 points here in the Fey Hammer Titan event to get this 5-star split soul. There are only 1,750 available. There are 200 that are currently in this event that we didn't know were going to be here. And so now I have two choices. Either I can spend a lot of resources to try to get these 200 hammer points, 9 sacred shards worth of resources, and that's potentially going to impact my ability to complete the Deck of Fate down the line and get the guaranteed Freya.
Oh, yeah.
You did, in fact, tell us that it was coming at some point. You never gave us a date, by the way, because if we knew the date, that would be
I feel like I heard that mentioned weeks ago. Someone said something about the Freya Deck of Fate event. I feel like it was literal weeks ago, and I forgot about it. I remember seeing it mentioned every few days in a comment or somewhere. And I kept, at a certain point, I was like, what are people talking about? Like, because I don't read the news and stuff, so I don't pay much attention. I usually know what's going on because of my Discord or because of stuff like this. I kept forgetting that was a thing. Have they ever announced anything that far in advance? And did they even give any information about it? Or are they just like, at some point it's coming?
Much information that would allow us to be prepared and make informed decisions.
And
you want us at a disadvantage, so we have to mess up potentially.
It's the big thing too. Is the key word there was informed decisions. It's like they don't want you able to do that, which is so weird. The resources get spent. You know what I mean? But they really, really thrive on FOMO. It's like they need that. It's like FOMO is their life force. So they need it to thrive or something. It's so weird.
Because that's what you want out of us. You don't want us to feel comfortable. You want us to be uncomfortable.
On our toes.
And we know that. And this proves it. My other option
Thirsty boy.
is to skip these 200 points. And now for the next 2 weeks, I have to play near perfectly again. I just completed a 2-week fusion. I now have to do another 2-week fusion, and I can't mess up.
So, like, a month of perfection, a month of being handcuffed to the game if you want the thing. And sure, you don't have to have the thing. That's an argument some people are going to make. Nobody says you have to have it. Yeah, that's true, I guess. Good point. That's a great point. You don't have to get this stuff in the game. True. But like, damn.
5-star soul. Now, I could modify my expectations. I could drop down to a 4-star soul, sure. But you're forcing me to make that choice. You're saying you can take less. If you don't want to give us money, you can take less. And the constant message is we only value those people who spend a lot of money. And even them, we don't value that much. We value just for an event. Just for this event, we'll value you. But we're going to hit you up again and again and again and again. And it's going to be nonstop at this point. Because if we just quickly look back at that event calendar for the last month, we can see your new philosophy on spending. I mean, it's super clear what you're trying to do. Today is the 17th. You can see that is highlighted in blue here. And we look and we have an extra legendary event, Faction Unity Summon, and we have the Summon Rush here for the 17th, 18th, and 19th. And then starting on the 20th, we have a Champion Chase tournament for the 20th, 21st,
right now.
22nd, and 23rd. So from now until the 23rd, there is a shard event every single day. The portal will not stop glowing for more than a few hours, and then it'll be glowing again. Well, let's look at what happened earlier this month. We know we just completed a Summon Rush.
Oh, man.
For the Thor Fusion event. So that was the 13th through the 16th. And again, this current one started on the 17th. So again, we haven't had a gap of a day. We've had a gap of a few hours. That's it. Every single day has been covered. Well, what happened before that Summon Rush? Well, let's back up. We can only go so far. Oh, here's a progressive chance event.
Which is a very
the 10th,
non-event.
11th, and 12th, and then the Summon Rush started on the 13th. So there's no gap there.
Interested.
Let's go back a little bit further.
There's a Champ Chase right there.
What happened before the progressive chance event? Well, there was a Sacred Summon boost. That was the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And again, the progressive chance started on the 10th. So there's no gap there. Let's go back further. We've got a Summon Party. That was the Odin event with the Void Summon boost. And that was the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So
it
this
really
event
makes the events non-events. If there's always an event.
Until the 23rd of this month, there have been 0 days without a shard pull event. 21 days in a row, you have had a shard pull event. Every one of them has had FOMO built into them. Every one of them is an opportunity to get your players to spend money. And every one of them happens with the player base knowing that there is a guaranteed Freya somewhere nebulously in our future.
Isn't that interesting that they just like dangled that and then have done 21 days of consecutive summon events so that everybody has to summon but also be like, should I be hanging on to these for Freya?
It could be next week. It could be next month. It's going to happen before the middle of November.
They're sick,
but we don't know when. And that's the biggest thing. Like, you're constantly trying to put us at a disadvantage. You keep secrets from us in an attempt to get us to spend in unhealthy ways. That's why we don't trust you. And the truth of the matter is, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
You don't.
You don't have to do this. You don't have to act like this. We will happily spend money on games. We are built to spend money on games.
I spend money in every other mobile game I play. Literally every single other mobile game I play, I spend money in. I spend a lot of money in Summoner's War. I spend a decent amount of money in Sword of Convaleria. I downloaded the updated Big Win Football a couple of weeks ago and spent money in that. Every single mobile game I play, I will spend a little bit of money. Just because that's kind of a thing I like to do. If I like a game enough to download it and play it at all, I want to do something. You know what I mean? So I'll buy the starter pack or whatever it is. I am so happy. I'm so happy to spend money in a mobile game. I have no aversion to it whatsoever. And the idea of giving Plarium any money, I just cannot get behind. I've had a lot of people request that I do like a small spender series alongside Free to Succeed to kind of measure the difference. Um, like a few things like that would involve spending a little bit of money. A lot of people wanted me to buy some Void charts to keep the Void series going, and I'm like, I just don't want to. I just don't want to give them any money. I just don't think they deserve any money at this point. Um, Nothing about their behavior makes me want to give them any money. Like, I cannot support it. And he talked about being like forever the optimist at the beginning of the video. Even still, I have this idea that at some point they're going to turn it around. At some point they're going to change their strategy. At some point they will have made enough money that they can settle in and start really making this game everything that it could be. There's still something in my head for some reason that thinks that's going to happen at some point. And again, it's not that the game's not fun as it is, but we're really not even talking about the game, as weird as that sounds. We're really talking about Plarium and their tactics and the way that they engage with us. That's really what the conversation is. And so I think that's also why I get aggravated at if you hate Raid, why do you play? Because I'm not talking about Raid. I'm not really even talking about Raid. We're talking about Plarium. And when we're talking about Plarium, we're talking about a few people. That's another thing too, is like, I don't want every Plarium employee that ever hears us gripe about this think that we hate them. I understand that it's probably 8 people tops that are responsible for this. I don't know what their structure is. I don't know how all that works at that level. But I know that it's a few people. I know that it's not most of them. I know that it's not the YouTube community managers. I know that it's not the artist. I know that it's not the people working on the game. It's the people making the strategic decisions on how to make money and how to engage with us. Those are the people that I have a problem with, and that I think need to be, I don't know, educated, because it would be worth, I feel like it would be worth the experiment, at least for 6 months, to see how much money they would make if they didn't behave like this. If they gave everybody a heads up, if they stopped trying to snatch money out of our wallets, if they stopped trying to milk us of our shards and put us in positions to not have what we need to participate in the game, if they would stop doing that for a few months and just see if it changed anything about how much money they make. Maybe they'd make less. Maybe they would. But I know a lot of people, myself included, who are basically, I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't spend money on the Free to Succeed account, but like, I know a lot of people that are waiting to give them money, waiting on them to turn it around so that they can give them money again. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people in my community that have said that. So I understand that my community is not necessarily a reliable gauge for the overall analytics of the game, but there is a sentiment out there among a lot of people that they don't want to give them money strictly because of the way they behave, and they would be happy to give them money if they behave differently. Whales are going to spend. Whales are going to buy what whales are going to buy. You don't have to strong arm them into it. It's the lower tier spenders that they're trying to bully in. It's the people that are okay enough spending if they need to. That's the people that they're trying to strong arm in. I feel like those people would probably still spend a decent amount, and you'd get a lot of new spenders if you'd stop acting like this. But
I don't know
if they care, honestly.
We are passionate about our games. We want to support good developers. And good developers in our mind are developers who give us value in return for our money and treat us with respect. They listen to us.
Yeah.
They listen to our feedback. They don't have to take all of it, but they listen to it. They care about community and they care about our in-game experience. And for a while, it felt like you did. There have been quality life improvements in the last year that have been greatly appreciated. The player base is happy about those. You've gone back to regularly buffing champions that are subpar. That's awesome. The filters for gear and champions have been improved. You've added good new content to the game. It's not perfect. You're still working on it. We appreciate that. But this mentality is still the same. That casino mentality of not thinking of your customers, your players as colleagues. that we're in this endeavor together, but rather looking at us as dollar signs.
Yeah, not seeing us as supporters, because that's ultimately what we are. If no one's playing your game, you don't have a game. You know what I mean? We're supporting the game, and I don't necessarily think that means that they owe us anything. I think the exchange is made. They've made a game we enjoy playing. Thus, in turn, we play the game, and they garner success. Right? I think the exchange is complete. But I think there's a way to, from that point, behave and treat the people playing your game, and they are incredibly manipulative. If you had a personal relationship like this, I would like to think that most of you would not be okay with it. This is such a manipulative, toxic relationship that they garner with their players, and it's just aggravating. That's why there's a sentiment. That's why rant videos are some creators' most viewed videos, because a lot of other people feel this way. A lot of the community feels like Plarium does not, I don't want to say doesn't know how, because I don't believe that they don't know how. I think they choose not to have a better relationship with their players. They've had so much time to learn through trial and error what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do, and they continue to do the wrong things. That cannot be a mistake. That cannot be incompetence. That's a clear decision. It can't be incompetence this far in. They've had so many people to tell them, express in clear detail what the problems are with what they're doing, and they're choosing to continue to do them and do them worse as time goes on.
And so I said I was going to tell you how to fix this problem, and I am going to tell you how to fix this problem. It's really simple. You only need to do a few things. Just a few things. First and foremost, start informing us ahead of time. Let us know what is coming down the line. The reason we're so mad about this is because you didn't tell us. If at the beginning of the Odin event, you had said, this bonus Summon Rush event is also going to be the launch of a new Thor Titan event, and it's going to include hammer points for the soul, then what everybody is going to start thinking is, that's really good value. I'm going to save some shards for that event. And maybe, yes, you will lose a little bit of money on the Summon Rush in the middle of the Thor Fusion event. Maybe the Champion Chase doesn't pull in quite as much money. But what's going to happen is all of that money is just going to shift here. It's not going to be lost. It's simply going to shift over here, and players are going to be happy about it. And by the way, based on what's going on in game, they're still going to pull more shards than they would have otherwise.
And again, not only will that money shift to somewhere else, but you'll get a whole new influx of money from people who appreciate that shit. I guarantee you, there's a substantial amount of people that are just waiting on you to figure it out, and not just one good thing, but I mean, like, when they display a pattern of behavior that shows a change in the way that they view us and treat us, I promise there's a lot of people that are going to spend money again. Guarantee it.
Without changing any of the events, you've gone from people looking at this as deceived, as you've deceived us, to, hey, this is an opportunity for a whole lot of extra value, but only if we know ahead of time. And that's what I think you're not seeing. That's why I said, I don't think you saw this coming. You probably look at this and you're like, hey, this is an event that's got a lot of value for players. They're going to be happy about it. But you're not giving us the information to make good choices. You are forcing us to reach into our wallets to make up for the fact that you put us at a disadvantage in the first place. All it takes is information. Give us the fusion calendar 3 or 4 days before the fusion. Let us know what's coming down the line a month in advance or 2 weeks in advance. populate this calendar here, not on the day of, but the week before. Let players know what to expect.
The problem is they know all this. There's no shot they don't know all this. It's a decision not to do it. Unless they fire and rehire someone to do this every single time there's a fusion, there's no way that they haven't learned. like the person in charge of this gets fired and rehired every couple of months and it's a new person. There's no shot they don't know this. They don't want to do this.
Feedback, and they can feel like they're not being deceived. There are some other things, but honestly, that's all it's going to take. That's all it's going to take. If you do that, it's a shift in philosophy from feeling like your player base are your marks, that you are con men trying to separate your players from their money. And it's going to...
A lot of other games I play have ongoing event calendars like this, but for the whole game. It's not for a particular event. We have event calendars for the event of a fusion. But they have an event calendar that you can go... how far in the future you can go varies from game to game, but it's several days, usually at least. And you can see every event that's coming for the next, like a week in advance or whatever. Every single event. So you can plan everything that you do around what's going on in the game. When we find out events are coming in Raid, when we get a red dot on the event tab and there's new shit in there. Like, why? Why? It's not even like the events are good. That's the problem too, is that the events themselves, like we do them all when they're in conjunction with a fusion or in conjunction with something else that we want to complete, but the events themselves fucking blow. Like they're boring and uninspired. I've been talking about this for years. The events suck. And not only do they suck, but we also don't get any notice they're coming. they just pop up. It's just red dot city every evening for me anyway. I don't know what time they pop up for y'all, but
yeah. Turn it around to your
other games let you know everything that's going on in the
merchant
game.
Who has a supply and a consumer base who wants that supply, and you provide good value and you provide good customer service, and they keep coming back. That's the change in philosophy. And this is all it takes. This is really all it takes. It also wouldn't hurt to lower your prices on shards a little bit. But if you didn't even do that, if all you did was just be upfront and honest with us and not pull like this every once in a while, we would trust you more. And when we trust you and we like your game, I promise you, we will spend money. But until then, I'm going to stay free to play because I don't trust you. And I'm going to recommend to everybody who watches my channel to be as careful as possible with their money. Live the free to play life if they can. And if they want to spend wisely, spend carefully, and never ever trust Plarium until they prove that they are trustworthy.
December's coming up quick.
And maybe that's going to keep me out of the content creator program. But honestly,
you don't need to be in there.
That's more than worthwhile for me to trade. I don't mind. I'll stay on the outside looking in if this is what it takes. Because I don't want to be inside of that. I don't want to be on the side that has to defend that. I don't want to be on the side that says that is fair and good.
You bet he's about to hit 10K subscribers. You don't need to be in there.
And gamers are smart people. Gamers are really smart and they know it. And you lost players today. I guarantee you, however successful this event happens to be, there are players who will never log into this game again because of this event. That's it. That's all. That's all I have to say. So,
yeah, great video, man. I'm in full agreement with a lot of it. I think the only thing we disagree on is what we think the sentiment is behind it. At times, I think they know full well what they're doing, and I don't think that they're surprised about the. I think they live. I think they live for the backlash. Again, that's all speculation. It's hard to really know, And I think that when I say they, it's a very small group of people. I don't think the hundreds of employees in the Plarium office are all gathered around hooting and hollering because the players are upset. I think a lot of them are probably very aggravated about it too. I think that I would venture to say that the community managers and the artists and the people who actually put in a lot of effort are probably pretty aggravated about all this stuff too. Because this game could be really great. It could be so much more than what it is, and the sentiment could be. You could cultivate such a different relationship with your players if you cared to at all, and they just don't seem to care to. Everything that they do says that they do not care. Right? I can't say definitively how they feel about anything, but I can form an opinion based on their behavior, and their behavior regularly tells us they are not interested in having a good relationship with us. They are interested in handcuffing you to the game, keeping you in the game as much as possible to keep their analytics up, and strong arming you into spending money when you inevitably have something go on in your real life that does not afford you the ability to finish a small piece of whatever puzzle you're trying to complete that has no real extra pieces, right? If you miss a piece, then you just don't get to complete the puzzle. So that's what it seems to be, and I have no reason to feel any differently about it until they give me a reason to feel differently about it. So anyway, again, I'm gonna link Colred down below. He's closing in quickly on 10K, which I think is so cool. Man, I remember it wasn't long ago he had 2,000 something. I think it wasn't long ago. It was a few months ago. So he's growing pretty quick, man. That's good to see because he's been working hard. He does a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of really fun stuff, really helpful content. And he's just a solid dude. I'm a fan. I'm a Colred fan for sure. So I'm gonna link his channel below. Go show him some love. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it was a pretty long video, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm getting out of here. Have a good one, guys.